When you are ready, please take it away.
Okay, so our audience is going to be the California House of Representatives. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dan Pardo. To my left here are my colleague analysts,
Ryan DeVito,
Sharon Sanchez, Michelle Gale,
and Justin Goodman.
and today we're going to be advocating against the current status quo, where we believe that blood banks should allow anyone to donate blood. Before we get started, there is one key term that we'd like to make you guys aware of, and that is MSM. MSM stands for men having sex with other men. I'm going to give you a brief outline of how we're going to break this down. I'm going to go ahead and do the harms. Ryan's going to go ahead and do the significance. Sharon's going to go ahead and do the blame. Michelle's going to do the cure, and then Justin's going to go ahead and wrap it up with the cost. So my first point, the FDA is currently unfair and discriminate against MSM donations. According to Cheryl Weinstein, 2013, who is a writer from the Washington Times, states that under the Food and Drug Administration rules, men who have had sex with other men since 1977 are currently ineligible to donate blood at this time. And this is due to an acknowledgement. Basically, they acknowledge that they have had sex with men or have had sex as far as homosexual relations at any time during this period. And ultimately what this does is it automatically disqualifies them for donating blood. In another study, 2010, Department of Health and Human Services Advisory Committee, they claimed that MSM blood donations was suboptimal, but kept in place pending further research. This basically means that it is just a guideline. It is not a set in stone rule or law or regulation that's going to be implemented for further use. So it's just a guideline. The Association of Blood Banks claims that the potential donors are screened for high-risk behavior regardless of any sexual orientation. So there is fairness amongst this. It doesn't have to be limited to MSM individuals. In my second point, better methods of screening blood donations. According to Josh Bloom, 2013, who is a director of chemical and pharmaceutical sciences at the American Council on Science and Health, states, with advances in blood testing, deferral periods need not be years or even months. Due to the new HIV tests, which measures the genetic material from viruses directly, this measures instead of the actual virus, it measures the antibodies of the virus instead of the virus itself. This HIV method is accurate and fast. Scientific studies have said that as long as people can answer the questions on the questionnaire truthfully and honestly, there's no scientific need for further evaluations that can actually exclude these MSM donors. So the current ban right now assumes that all gay and homosexual individuals are HIV positive. That is simply not the case. I mean, it's just simply not the case. In my third point, blood bank shortage. According to Amy Doxer, 2002, who's a writer from the Wall Street Journal, she states that American Blood Centers from the Federation, or the American Blood Centers, which is the federation that provides half the U.S. public supply, nearly 1/3 of its supplies and facilities are now limited to 1 day or less than 1 day supply. And also half of the American Red Cross 36 blood collection centers report similar shortfalls as well. So due to this, there's 42. And I'd like to hand it off to my other analyst, Ryan. He's going to go ahead and give you the significance.
how you doing today, guys? So you guys sit in front of me today, and how many people have donated blood here in this classroom? Raise your hands. So you guys all done it, all done the process. So when you guys go in there, you guys know like the right sheet they give you. They say that you can't be in jail, you can't be incarcerated, can't have tattoos, and then you also see like if it says you're bi or gay at the bottom. Pretty much what it means is MSM right here, and it means men having sex with other men. And so they don't really have anything with girls that have sex with girls. They don't have that. They just say men with MSM. And so donating blood saves you at least you have 15 minutes of your time. You saved up to 3 lives. Now, with HIVs now, already, I don't know if you guys know the statistics right now, it's up to 38% of people have it now. People are born with it, people are spreading it. Most people don't, our generation is getting it way more faster because we don't like using condoms. You know what I'm saying? We're a little more open with everything now, and everyone's probably does it. You guys all smiling, I see a bunch of smiles across. Like, now, it's always hard for the guy to figure out to bring a condom and stuff. So with the shortage of blood and making it almost like a life to death thing. I mean, for example, I was born in '89 during the Bay Bridge collapse. I don't know if you guys heard the earthquake. Well, I was in the hospital at the time, and my dad said it was just nuts. They were looking for blood. They were running in the room, just like, hey, can you donate blood? Have you donated blood yet? Like, they're just going around, just asking people, just needing the blood because we're in so much dying need of shortage blood. We're really strict on, the U.S. is really strict on their rules right now. They're of higher habitations, and so. When we needed to give the blood, currently only 5% of Americans give blood. A lot of people don't like giving blood, they just don't figure out the time. I feel like what we do is go around campus and I feel like everyone, I always thought people always donated blood. I never saw a blood source until I got to here. And so the donating blood on the campuses are really good. And so one of my stories is too, because one of my friends was gay, and he had a gay partner with a certain different type of blood. He got in a motorcycle accident, a really bad one. And so he was looking, he had a type C blood or something, I forgot what type, it was a really big high deal. Well, his partner was trying to donate blood, but when he was asking, they were open about it, they're really open about it, because San Francisco is really open about everything. So they asked him, they said, are you and so he said that. He also said that, and when he said that, they couldn't get enough blood in time, so they had to ship someone else over. And so when they got all that shit figured out, they pretty much saved his life, and everything was good. But it was really my friend's boyfriend was pissed off that he could not donate blood, and he almost died at the time of that because of the rare blood type. And luckily they were they were really open on grabbing their size. But to wrap it up, I'll just pass it over to Ms. Sanchez.
Thank you, Ryan. Once again, my name is Sharon Sanchez. So today I will be discussing the problem with the current policy and why it is a problem. So first of all, MSM not being able to donate blood is just simply not fair. Like my associate Daniel stated earlier, since 1977, MSM could not donate because that was when the AIDS epidemic occurred. And we have to admit, back in those days, everyone was experimenting, everyone was having sex with each other, free-spirited, and we have to admit, or at least us girls, gay men are really attractive most of the time. So, but like I said, MSM is not the only people affected by HIV, even though they are the ones that are seriously affected. But there are men that sleep with prostitutes, there are men that have multiple partners, and they can still donate blood after a year, which I don't think it's fair. HIV, we have to think about it like this. HIV is not a gay disease anymore. It's actually, everyone can get it now. And reality check is not going to go away. It's been really common these past few years. And like I said, if a guy that's having sex with another guy and he knows he's clean can donate, why can he not donate when a guy that's been with multiple prostitutes can donate? That just doesn't make sense. So an important thing we're trying to get at here is that there's a blood shortage. According to ABC News last year, the American Red Cross announced a critical shortage of blood transfusions and elective surgeries. What that is surgeries that were scheduled in advance, but because they didn't need any medical emergency. So these blood shortages were due to the increase of chemotherapy, heart transplants, and organ transplants that are occurring every year. And obviously those those need a lot of blood. So that's why they had to cancel a lot of elective surgeries in LA, Philadelphia, and Atlanta. And just last year, 1.6 million people were diagnosed with cancer. So that means this year they're going to need chemotherapy at least every day. So that means a lot of blood. If you guys don't believe me that there's a blood shortage, According to American Red Cross, every 2 seconds someone needs blood. 41,000 blood donations are needed every day just here in the United States. And a single victim from a car accident, which car accidents happen every day, they at least need 100 pints of blood. So, yeah, like Brian stated, about 5 to 10% of people that are eligible to donate only donate. And I know a lot of MSM people that will be willing to donate blood. I'm personally a blood donor, and I try to donate. It's every 8 weeks. You could only donate 1 pint of blood. And if I know I'm clean, if MSM men know they're clean, why can't they donate just like I can? Mike Darling, he's a reporter for NBC News. He interviewed a guy named David Dassey, and last April, you guys know about the Boston Marathon runner. When he was about to cross the 25-mile mark, the bombs exploded and everything, and his fellow runners, like, they went to go donate blood and things like that because they knew a lot of people were gonna need it. But he knew, like, for about 30 years that he couldn't donate. He's healthy. He experimented when he was young, and he just, you know what, I can't even donate. Like, he knows that he can donate. And he was just talking about how before the law, he was donating blood as much as he could, but since the law is unfair, like, he can't donate blood anymore. So all we're saying is let's change the status quo. HIV tests are being tested. If there is like a disease, or like if I have HIV or anything like that, we don't use that blood. Like, they just throw it out. They inform the donor and they just don't use it. So let's change the status quo. And now I'm gonna pass it on to my classmate Michelle, and she will be talking about the cure.
Hi everyone. I will be talking about the cure today, and I will start off my policies letting you guys know that if you answer all the questions honestly, correctly, and your blood is not infected, there is no scientific reason that you should not be able to donate blood, especially in case of MSM. In Canada and Spain, they used to have policies just like the United States has, like we have right now, but they have adopted this policy pretty recently that Canada has a policy that MSM can donate blood within 5 years of having sexual intercourse with another man. And Spain has a 1-year policy. The United States is one of the most modernized countries in the world. We need to get on this policy and just let them donate blood. It might sound really petty right now that we're letting you know that, oh, just let them donate blood, but it's also a matter of equality. We all want equality. Gay men and women have been fighting for equal rights for a very long time, and slowly they're making progress. So far, 17 states have let gay marriage take place in their states. But also, we need to make this change and let gay men, and especially MSM, donate blood throughout our country. Also, talking about equality, it's not just about donating blood, it's also about the discrimination that our society has with MSM, or just gay men, or the gay individuals. Like in June of 2013, it was said an American Medical Association voted to oppose this policy. AMA board member William Cobbler called it discriminatory and not based on sound science. When there are tests available to be tested, and when all the viruses and diseases are checked at least 5 times, then there's no reason that MSM cannot donate blood. Just like Jason Sionto of Gay Men Health Crisis said, that ban on donating blood continues the stigma of gay and bisexual men being dangerous to public health. And as all of you guys know that do work at Pizza Rock, and downtown is a very welcoming culture of just inviting everyone in, and there's a lot of gay individuals that do work in downtown. One of my coworkers is gay, and I interviewed him for a policy speech, and he said that I used to feel bad for not being able to help save a life through simple blood donation. I've been monogamous for 3 years, but the ban is so harsh I cannot do anything. I kind of almost felt like an outcast for being gay, but I can't change who I am. This ban is not just only keeping blood donations away from those that are in dire need of blood, they're also making other gay individuals or MSM feel like an outcast. Nobody deserves that. We all are equal, and equality is a beautiful thing. We all need to be part of our neighborhood, society, and this country as an equal part of all our neighbors and everyone. Okay, my third point is, just like we talked about, Shane mentioned, that American Red Cross performs numerous lab tests for multiple infections and diseases that are in our blood. It is the 21st century. And we have come up with so many tests that if there's any infection in your blood, they will hold that blood back and they will not make any transfusion in anyone who is in dire need of that blood. American Red Cross checks all of our blood for Chagas disease, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, human immune-related virus, which is HIV-1 and HIV-2. They also check our blood for lymphotropic virus, syphilis, and West Nile virus. Checking for these diseases and holding all this infected blood doesn't harm anyone. MSM should be able to donate blood no matter what, because there are accidents happening every day. People are diagnosed with different numerous diseases and viruses every day and they need blood. So just by holding MSM back from donating blood doesn't make any sense. We need to let them donate blood because we need equality also. So we need to change this, and I ask all of us, all of you guys, to agree with us to making change in this policy to let everyone be an equal part of our society and our nation. Now, Daniel will talk about the cost of our changing this policy.
Thank you. Hello everybody, I'm Justin, and I'm going to just be covering the quick costs relating to striking down the current measure of banning MSM individuals from donating blood. And these aren't just going to be the financial costs, it's also going to be costs relating to supply and demand of blood, and also the societal costs involved in refusing people to take place in what many consider to be a civic duty. So I'm going to crunch a couple quick numbers for you. The U.S. population in 2013 was, this according to the U.S. Census, was roughly 316 million. I'll just put that whole figure down. And according to the FDA, 2% of that population falls into the MSM category. So that is roughly 6 million. And even if 50% of this population is in fact infected with HIV, that still leaves close to 3 million individuals who are healthy and are able to donate blood and are otherwise banned from a system that absolutely needs it as much as possible. So the cost of striking down this measure will actually be quite minimal, since we already have measures in place to prevent HIV and other infectious diseases from getting into our blood supply. Striking down the measure will really have no additional costs, since we already have these measures in place. So any extra costs will be really just extra measures, extra preventative measures to ensure that our blood donors, our blood supply, and people receiving blood are healthy and safe. Early detection of HIV is far better than it was in the 1970s. HIV can be detected within 3 weeks of infection. And HIV testing today really only costs about, only takes about 20 minutes to determine if you are in fact infected. And most places, as the Pride Center shows, are absolutely free. You can get tested for free, you can know the same day. The CDC encourages people who fall into the MSM category to get tested at least once every year. Now the problem with our current policy is that even if you bring proof, and this is according to Jeff Steer of the Huffington Post, that even if you bring current proof that you are uninfected, you still cannot donate blood. And this makes no sense. If you were tested, like the CDC suggests, within a year, and your sexual practices haven't changed during that time, if you stayed with the same partner, and that partner hasn't been infected, you're still healthy. You should still be able to donate blood. So what we really need to do is extra costs to increase safety really need to go into research and prevention of HIV. And Avert.org asserts that long-term care will be, the cost of long-term care will be reduced as long as we increase our funding in research and prevention. A study from the CDC and the Johns Hopkins University said that an increase in HIV prevention funding up to $4.5 billion over a period of 10 years will save $104 billion in long-term medical costs for those affected with AIDS and HIV. They also argue that no extra funding for HIV and AIDS will actually cause a 30% increase in infections. And that will bring up to $128 or $237 billion in treatment. So what we really need to do is we really need to be aware of these individuals. We need to be aware if they are infected. The individuals need to test themselves. And what we need to do is we need to, instead of having a ban, we need to have personal responsibility. And lastly, I just hope that you all agree with us that the increase in blood donations through MSM members will save lives, also bring about equality, equal rights and opportunity, and bring about solidarity, which is union or fellowship arising from common responsibilities and interests. And thank you for your time.
Thank you.